Ole Miss is on commitment watch for a crucial player in this class. Will they land him?
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Ole Miss podcast, the most watched Ole Miss podcast around. I am your host, Stephen Willis, a 10-year veteran member of the national media and a former Ole Miss staff member. On today's show, we dive into the Locked On Top 100 NFL list. And of course, the mayor of Starkville is on there. We will tell you where. We also chat with Travis Perry about his basketball journey and what led him specifically to Ole Miss. But first, we're on commitment watch. Four-star top 150 prospect Craig Tutt is set to announce his decision today. Why is that important? We will let you know. Early expert predictions are trending towards the good guys. But as always in recruiting, you just never know. We're free and available on all the podcast apps and on YouTube. Thank you for making Locked On Ole Miss your first listen every day, and a special hello to the everydayers who make the show what it is. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, and comment on the video. It costs nothing, but helps keep this free. And don't forget to check out a second listen on the network. Nearly every team, college or pro, is ready for you. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So it's commitment day for Craig Tutt, and he is a player that Ole Miss not only wants, but they kind of need. And the reason Craig Tutt is in such demand, essentially, is his athleticism. He is somebody that jumps off the page, and he's probably been the best athlete on every field he has ever stepped on. And you can honestly see what Pete Golding might be intending with a player like this on the back end of the defense. He's tailor-made to play one of the three safety positions. He is somebody that makes your team better. And Craig Tutt is from Oakland High School in Tennessee. Now, it is going to be hard at the end still to get a Tennessee player out of Murfreesboro. It's going to be difficult. It's changed a little bit over the last couple of years, but it is still difficult. That is a very orange area of what that. My knowledge in that is I used to live 9 miles from Oakland High School in Smyrna, Tennessee. I know what that area is like. Rivals has him rated as the number 117 player in the country. He is rated as the number 9 player in Tennessee, number 5 player in Tennessee, number 9 safety overall. 247 has him as a 4-star, but not in their top 247, and ESPN has him as a 3-star. I don't know if I agree with that, but that probably has more to do with the fact that he probably didn't camp at an Under Armour camp. That something as simple as that could be to blame for what's going on. Overall, he's a 4-star player and rated around the top 250 players in the entire country. Craig Tutt is exactly what you would want on the back end of that defense. Again, he is the most athletic player on every field that he gets on. And when you look at him and what he does, you can see that he is the best wide receiver on his team, probably the best running back on the team. He's probably the best quarterback, the best tight end, the best linebacker, the best safety, the best cornerback. The growth and how good Oakland High School can be is 100% attached to how good Craig Tutt can be. He is one of those players that lifts up his high school team. So he looks at his roster. You got Tennessee and you've got Auburn and maybe a few others and Ole Miss on his list. And where would he be able to fit early with the way he is being recruited? And Ole Miss immediately comes to mind. When you look at Ole Miss's safety room, you have, yes, 2 Under Armour All-Americans that are true freshmen in that room as it is, but they haven't made the step in their development just yet. And LaDarian Clardy, who really is similar to Craig Tutt as far as they were both the best athlete on every field they stepped in. You can see where these teams could be. I could see Craig Tutt go, hey, I can walk on that campus next year, compete with some people that might know the playbook a little bit better, but maybe didn't play a whole bunch, and maybe get on the field really, really quickly, even as a true freshman, because everybody likes to poke fun at Lane Kiffin for high school recruiting. That's kind of the new thing online at the moment. But when you look at it and a player is good enough, that player gets on the field very, very early. Quinshon Judkins ran for 1,500 yards as a true freshman. Suntarine Perkins was on the field pretty consistently. I think Tysheem Johnson played a bunch when he was in as a freshman. If you are good enough, you play. So Craig Tutt probably sees this opportunity and thinks of himself as being good enough. He expects to be on the field as a true freshman next year. I guarantee you that is in the mind of Craig Tutt. And if you look at what's going on at Auburn, listen, if Auburn loses to Baylor, that's going to be a mushroom cloud on the Plains. They are absolutely going to go up. That seat under Hugh Freeze is going to be so hot. When you look at Tennessee, it comes down to the home state ties. Murfreesboro is about 3 hours from Knoxville. So you could still get away from home and go to Tennessee, even though it's a home state thing. It's really kind of synonymous with McGee and Oxford, if we're going to be honest. Tennessee plays a good brand of defense, but they have a little bit more depth, I think, on the back end than Ole Miss does, or at least perceived depth. Craig Tutt thinks he could probably come in and play right away if he signs at Ole Miss. That is my thought. So we will see how this decision goes. This is a decision in the next 3 weeks. Enough decisions are going to be made that is going to, I don't know, put this recruiting class in perspective. If you do not land Deuce Geralds, if you do not land Jace Matthews, it's going to be viewed under a different lens than if you landed them, honestly. If you land them, you have a chance to take this class from good to great because they don't have many players in the class at the moment, just like Lane Kiffin never has many players in his high school classes, but they are all pretty highly rated. And they are all guys that they think can play in their system. So looking at these recruits, the difference between a good and a great high school class is probably over the next 3 weeks or so, and it starts with Craig Tutt and his decision a little bit later on today. Again, RPMs are out there from Chad Simmons, the national recruiting guy from Rivals, and Billy Embody, who does the On3 site. He put his RPM in as well. But in recruiting, you just never know. Somebody could come in with an offer at the very last moment and change absolutely everything. But the feels going into the signing, you're probably feeling pretty good about it as far as what everybody has been saying. So we'll see exactly what happens with Craig Tutt and if he can go. All of that stuff, it should be really interesting to find out. Listen, we sat down with one of the most intriguing players on Ole Miss's basketball roster, and that's Travis Perry. His journey to college hoops in Oxford, Mississippi is a great story, and we're diving into that next. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning for a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you the full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing money, you're also building wealth. The first thing I noticed after joining Monarch was how much money I was wasting eating out and having food delivery. Thanks to Monarch Money, I was able to clean that up. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. It was really interesting. Travis Perry came by and sat down for us, and we talked to him for a good bit of time. Here's a little snippet of what you can expect from the full interview tomorrow of Travis Perry. Travis Perry joins the podcast, and I give everybody's in for a treat on this one, because if you are a fan of the movie Hoosiers, we kind of have a real life Hoosiers situation, even though Travis is from Kentucky and it was in a completely different state. Travis, talk about coming from a smaller town and winning a state championship in Kentucky and how big of a deal that was.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, for me, it was really special. I got to play for my dad, who I'd played basketball for since I could walk. He got me into the game, got me loving the game. And along with myself, he got my two best friends, Jack Reddick and Brady Shoulders. We played together from kindergarten on. We played everything together. Every weekend we had a basketball, baseball, football. We had something going on. So we'd always played together. And so to be able to go through high school with those guys and finally get to that level where you've watched the state tournaments for forever, seeing how special it is to win it. Like, you think that those guys are heroes out there, and then getting to be in that position is really awesome. And like you said, being from a small town, being able to do it. The community support that we had in Lyon County was unreal. Like, everywhere you go, people are taking care of you. People are just want to know more about your life than about basketball. And I think that goes a long way for us. So to be able to bring the first state championship to Lyon County basketball in history was really, really cool for us.
And the classification system in Kentucky, it's just one state tournament, right? Just one state champion. It's not like in Mississippi where there's 7.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is. So there's still technically classifications, but you all play in one tournament. So, like, we were technically 1A, so we're the smallest. We graduated with 70 in our class, and we played against some schools at state tournament that had upwards of 3,000 people in there in each grade or in their high school. So, like, that's pretty big difference. So it's a lot more. I would say it's a lot more rewarding whenever you win like that, because you win, and at the end of the year, like, you are the Kentucky state champion. It's not like you're the 1A state champion and, the 6A state champion is better than you. You are the state champion. So I like that a lot about it.
Yeah, it's really cool indeed. And then you were the all-time leading scorer in the state of Kentucky at coming out of high school. What was that like? How much attention, like, Kentucky is a basketball state whenever you looks like that. How much attention was Lyon County getting from your accolades and how good your basketball team was?
Yes, sir. I mean, we definitely had we definitely had a pretty good media spotlight on us. We were pretty well covered, pretty well talked about. Like, when we came to town, there was always a good crowd. We sold out a lot of gyms, a lot of away gyms. So that in itself was a lot of fun. High school basketball is one of the best environments, especially in a state like that really values its high school basketball. Like, when you're in those high environment games, it's a lot of fun for myself, for our coaching staff, and for every player on team 1 through 15. Like, those are memories of a lifetime. So we definitely had a lot of attention, but it's a lot of fun to get to go out there every night with something to prove and with that X on your back.
So the all-time leading high school scorer in the state of Kentucky ended up going to the University of Kentucky as a true freshman. You got some playing time. You got out there. What was the biggest thing that you noticed in the jump from 1A high school basketball to SEC basketball?
There's a lot, there's a lot of things. The guys are obviously a lot bigger. There's not many 7-footers that are playing like guards in high school basketball that I played against. So that's a big difference. But, the pace of the game is different. You got to be a lot more locked in all throughout the game. Defensively, there's a lot of adjustment there. But, that's also fun getting to go. You're in the high school level for so long. You get comfortable there. You think you know everything about the game, and then you get to go to the college level, the SEC, which was the best league in probably the history of college basketball last year, get to play in that, compete in that. I think it really makes you adapt and grow yourself, and it made me really grow my game and change my mindset as well.
So you transferred from the home state team, the University of Kentucky, to Ole Miss. What went into that decision, and how did Ole Miss get into the game? And just talk about that whole process, please.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I had a really good relationship with Coach Beard. I'm big on just being really trusting. I think that's something that's big for me. Obviously, like I said, I played for my dad my whole life in high school and AAU up until I got on the circuit, and then I played for a great coach, Mark Adams, on the circuit. Guys that I really trusted and knew that they had faith in me to go out there and perform the way that I know I can perform. So that was something that I was really looking for. Coach Beard did that very well. Came to me with a great plan for me, with a plan for Ole Miss and a plan for me and how they work together. And I really liked the vision that he showed me. And I've had a great relationship with his staff since high school. Whenever I was going through the process in high school, they were obviously in my Final Five. So that relationship was very good in high school. So it kind of just carried over.
All right, that's Travis Perry. Tune in tomorrow. The link is going to be put out tomorrow at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. The YouTube video on Travis Perry will be available for everybody to consume. Should be pretty good. Listen, Travis Perry is a guy that has a very unique story, a very Hoosiers-like story, as you heard. And he is the all-time leading scorer in the state of Kentucky. He went to Kentucky and transferred away from Kentucky. And that's interesting, the way it all got set up. He was forced into playing some point guard because of some injuries last year. His coach, Mark Pope, adored him. It is going to be really interesting to see exactly how Travis Perry does at Ole Miss. Size-wise, shooting-wise, all of the stuff that you look at, it will be interesting to see exactly where he lands. He is one of my favorite people in this transfer portal class. I mean, Elias Camberdine's on that list. Corey Chest is on that list. There's a lot of things to like about this basketball team, and it's worth listening to. Honestly, the whole interview is a chance to get to know these kids. If you even have an inkling that you might buy season tickets in November, or you might be wanting them, this is an opportunity for you to get to know Travis. We have AJ Storr, who was on the channel a week ago, and we are going to cover post-game shows for every basketball game this season. We are going all in on basketball. The end of last year was so much fun. We want to recreate that from the very beginning. So that is our goal, to see exactly how that is. Listen, I enjoyed that interview with Travis Perry immensely, and we'll see exactly how that goes for Ole Miss and Chris Beard in the near future. Special thanks to Coach Beard and Mike Schwartz for hooking that up for us as well. These guys are really, really impressive stuff. And if you want to see the whole interview, again, tomorrow, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. In our final segment, Locked On dropped its NFL Top 100 list, and of course, A.J. Brown made the cut. We'll tell you exactly where he landed next. All right, it's really interesting stuff, because not a lot of people, when I started doing this, had heard of Locked On. And as they were growing their network, getting their Ole Miss guy, getting their Mississippi State guys, going through their college network, their NFL network, their NHL network, all over this, they've been growing consistently over the last 3 years, to the point where now they are the #1 sports podcast network in the entire country. That's some pretty big guns at our back. And we're owned by Tegna. And just so everybody knows, you might have heard of Sinclair Broadcasting as far as a local TV service that is kind of trying to branch out and be a little bit more. Well, Tegna is really similar to Sinclair, and they have a lot of muscle behind what they are doing as well. Channel 10 in Tampa, or ABC 24 in Memphis, who carries all of the Locked On Ole Miss stuff, are Tegna stations. So that's kind of some background of what's going on, because They have been talking for a while, the next step, because they have kind of conquered the podcast network and growing and growing and growing. It seems like every month it's a 50% or so growth of what's going on. Locked On is a rocket ship heading to the moon. In 5 years, in my opinion, Locked On will be the way that people consume media and sports in the United States. Locked On and other companies like Locked On. The days of legacy media, gone. They're headed out. On3 and Rivals and 247, they are in their death throes at the moment. It is absolutely weird, but that honestly believe that Locked On is the absolute future of seeing how this goes. And one of the ways that they go from just being a podcast network with a ton of hosts and a ton of experts everywhere to being that next level Locked On thing is through things like the NFL top 100 players list. And if I'm going to put a link to one of the shows of the top 100 so everybody can see that and what's going on. But the top 100, they rank the top 100 players just like the NFL network does going into the season. And then they're going to do it in the college realm as well, somewhere in the next couple of weeks. And part of everything is going to be the NFL draft. They're going to position their experts in such a way that they become the experts, just because of the fact that you see them over and over and over again. 3 years ago, I bet nobody on this podcast had heard of the Florida football scout, Brian Smith. Now, everybody that watches this channel knows who the Florida football scout is. Locked On is going to try and do something similar to that with other aspects of their network. And they're starting with the top 100. That is the first step in order to monetize in a way and make Locked On go from being just a bunch of awesome podcasts to being essentially what ESPN has become. And they do that through the YouTube channels, the fast TV channels, all of the Tegna stations. All of that is really good. So that's a nice background for people that might be interested in what's going on with Locked On and who we are. So Locked On released their NFL top 100 players. A.J. Brown, number 16 in the country. And honestly, he should be in that area, in that ballpark. I think DK Metcalf should have been in the top 100. He was not. The lone Ole Miss player that I can see real quick was A.J. Brown. I might have missed one. If I do, I apologize. But double check my work. I'm going to put the link up in this video. You can click on it and watch exactly the top 100 players as well. Listen, some really good players in the NFL. Number 16, that is elite territory. It really is. And everybody that's an Ole Miss fan remembers watching A.J. Brown play at Ole Miss. Even though Ole Miss wasn't particularly good, he was able to make plays and jukes, and he did things that were just different. I just wish he would have played in a slightly different era, if that makes sense. But I have no problem with A.J. Brown at 16. I think DK Metcalf should probably be ranked. But A.J. Brown at 16, no problem whatsoever with that. So, a little bit shorter episode this weekend. We're getting ready for fall camp that's going to start in, a couple of weeks, week and a half, something like that. So, we'll see exactly how that goes. Today on the show, today is Craig Tutt Commitment Day. Everybody pay attention to that whenever he goes one way or another. We are in the point of the year that this recruiting class is going to be judged off of, with Deuce Geralds and Jace Matthews and Craig Tutt popping up as a possibility to land. And we talked to Travis Perry, the transfer from Kentucky, who's from Kentucky, the all-time leading scoring guy in Kentucky. We talked about him a little bit. Should be really cool to hear the whole interview tomorrow morning. And A.J. Brown popping in at number 16. on the Locked On Top 100 NFL Players list. Like I said, there's going to be a college list. There's going to be a baseball list. There's going to be an NHL list, NBA list, the whole 9 yards. Locked On is really serious about becoming a major player in sports in this country. And they kind of have the backing to do it. So thank you very much for making Locked On Ole Miss your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. If you don't believe us, check out Google Ole Miss podcast, and see how many times Locked On Ole Miss comes up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it is completely free. Your support means the world to us. For your second listen, check out the Portal Show. Brian Smith has the latest rumors, portal entries, and signings. Be the most informed fan on the rapid changes in college football. Find the Portal on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Hotty toddy, everyone. And remember, analytics is just the old English word that means bad football. We'll see you later.